If you like the video, let us know down below.
And subscribe to go deeper down the rabbit hole.
I remember back in the 90s, I was made fun of for my dark skin. You know what I'm saying? Now my dark skin is more celebrated than I've ever experienced in these last 10 or so years. You know what I'm saying? I feel radiant about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like being as dark as I am has never felt like as much of a privilege as it does now.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? It kinda speaks to like how we've moved as a society in this whole modern colorism. You know what I'm saying? Because like at one point we separated. I mean, we kind of still do though, but we separate ourselves based on a color. And I mean, now it's more memeable, where it's like, you know what I'm saying, light skinned niggas do this,
right?
Or you know what I'm saying, the meme was like it was a chiseled ass light skinned nigga with sideburns, wild heads. Like, once you defeat all the light skinned niggas, this is the king light skinned niggas. But yeah, so what do you think about the state of colorism?
It's interesting you said that, because it's like that kind of shapes your whole identity, and then when you in a time where that doesn't even exist, or it's like, how do you adjust to that? And it's so prime example, I think recently they did in one of the elementary schools here, or some middle schools, one of the teachers did like an old slavery experiment or something, where the kids had to act out something, and they were highly upset. The kids were highly upset. But I remember in high school we was reading about, two little chapters about ourselves in the U.S. history book, and our teacher actually had us line upside with the paper bag, and if you was darker than it, then you was outside, or lighter than you was inside. But at that time, I think that was a lesson to us, because we always used to go on each other. Mm-hmm. That was her stepping in. When you don't have social media to be like, oh, you're beautiful, you're dark. Mm-hmm. It was just showing the seriousness of what we were saying and where it comes from, and why we shouldn't, treat each other the way we did, or play with each other the way we did, based off of XYZ. That was like a lesson. So it was just like, but that was what, 10 years ago? And then like
15, 20 years ago now.
20 years ago,
mm-hmm.
we had the big dance royale in, what is it, college days or something like that, mm-hmm. with the Jacoboos and light skin. So it's just like
school days,
yeah. So it's just like we're evolving at different times, at different parts of the country, of the nation, of, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I am still reminded of my skin, of me being, Black American, and just you're reminded of those things sometimes, even though it's widely celebrated, but it's not as wide as you think. I think social media shows us that it's celebrated, but when you walk through it every day, it's a whole nother story, because you see the face.
When you live it.
Yeah.
I mean, because everything is good on paper, like, you know what I'm saying, there are so many organizations available for minorities, and you know what I'm saying, they group black people into minorities, but the people that are benefiting are gay white men. So the white man is benefiting from white privilege, as well as is benefiting from minority privilege.
Oh my goodness, that's all. White women as well.
You know what I'm saying? So
minority,
it's right. You know what I'm saying?
Anything that's not white male is minority.
Because the vastness of what minority covers versus what is specifically for black people. And that's what we have to get or start asking more of that question, you know what I'm saying, moving forward, as we start to appreciate our identities again and grow our identities, and one day pick a name. We also have to keep in mind of what are these programs that are specifically for black people. When we go to the voting polls and we're electing our mayors, our city officials, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature, what are these people doing specifically for black people or black schools or, I mean, for real, the city as a whole to not gentrify us out of the situation? You know what I'm saying?
Have you heard about the high school student that can't walk unless he cut his dreadlocks?
Right, yeah, I heard of that.
And there's constant instances of that, and it's just like
fam, it grows out of our head this way.
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like for real, there was an insurgence of motherfuckers. They had there was like a little curler brush or whatever, but like that brush is just foam. It's not even doing anything, and they rub it over their head as foam, and their hair just grows curly and starts to lock like that.
Like that.
Just rubbing a sponge on your head. Like, come on, dude.
Even that, I remember in Six Flags applying. I had long dreadlocks, and they was like, I think she said it was a lifestyle choice or something like that. It's like, what was the hairstyle? And I was like, no, it's
a little bigger than that, my G. Yeah, cut your long fucking dead ass hair that's not reaching to the heaven. Your shit not reaching to the heaven. My shit has to grow up and then go down. Your shit just out of your head, just drape. Your shit is more consistent to fur. You know what I'm saying? My shit is a wool.
Lockdown.
You know? And don't touch it either.
It's just interesting just watching how, you just have an old school way of thinking that still is in charge of the policies of newer people with new ideas.
But that's what I was talking about the last time, where I was like, you know what I'm saying, it's embedded into our operating systems. You know what I'm saying? Us being the millennials, and what that really means is we're the bridge between the old ideologies and the new ideologies, because in the middle of our lifetime we went from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? The age of Pisces is dogmatic in its religion. It's loyal, right? Because Pisces are loyal. Now we're moving into the age of Aquarius, where Aquarius are wind signs, and if you speak to a lot of Aquarius, those motherfuckers don't really have emotion. Oh, you was going somewhere else. Those motherfuckers are devoid of emotion. So we're moving into a more robotic, you know what I'm saying, age where, you know what I'm saying, we're more dependent on our personal data assistants that everyone has, you know what I'm saying. And the older people are trying to learn how to use it, and the young people, they kind of come out with one out of the womb and shit, you know what I'm saying. But us, who we've had the privilege of not knowing everyone with a personal data assistant, and we gotta meet each other outside, and alright, I'm gonna call your phone, tell your mother not to be on the phone because I'm gonna be on the phone, I'm gonna call you at this time, and you know what I'm saying, we had to survive and connect on a more human level.
Yeah.
Moving into this more technological age where the human level is social media. You know what I'm saying? And now, it's a lot of us that are like, yo, I'm not even going to be on social media. I'm not going to, because we found ourselves becoming addicted to it and falling into it, whereas it's not, and we know it's not normal, versus the people that are now born and their addiction is normal. You know what I'm saying? It's like the pollution of the water, where at first, we've gone from an era where tricks were fucking in the shape of little fruits and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it tasted amazing. To gradually, they shifted the tricks to fruits and little balls. Then now it's just balls, and tricks are fucking trash. You get what I'm saying? We've went through it's that whole evolution that I'm talking about, in terms of, we went from an era where fucking maybe the ozone layer wasn't as polluted as it is now. But then now it's gotten more and more polluted, and now we're breathing different.
There was an example of a a certain breed of wolves or dog
Mm-hmm.
that or wild dogs that you could domesticate. Is basically like domestication. It's like a filtering system, human conditioning throughout generations. I was gonna say that they successfully like been able to just carbon copy
but
through
through
generations.
but my thing is through the whole planet, my G.
Yeah.
It's through the whole fucking planet.
Everybody's dancing to the same major 5-10 songs, no matter what country you come from. If you hear this song, you know the dance, you're going to do it.
Dude, they was teaching Africans how to speak English off of Lil Wayne's 6 foot, 7 foot. Remember when that was hot? We seen all the damn articles and shit. Niggas was learning English off of Lil Wayne. But even bigger than that, when I realized that, I was watching this comedian several years ago, and he's from Australia, right? And he was and at first I didn't know he was from Australia or he was even performing in Australia, because the entire time he was talking about American politics and how American politics is so fucked up and all of this until he started getting into 9/11. And he's like, damn, America's got to go fight 9/11. I mean, yeah, us over here in Australia. And I was like, oh, they're in Australia. What? And then he's like, yeah, nah, I mean, what, we got like one tank? We're tiny as shit. We'll go ahead and send out one ass tank over there. But while America's already done blew the shit half the death. And you know what I'm saying? And he was just talking about how even 9/11 over here shattered national security for Australia. I'm like, fam, we're on two totally different sides of the map, and what we do affects y'all that much, then I know for a fact that American ideology is everywhere on this fucking planet, bruh.
It's a disease.
And it's a disease, and it's spreading like a fucking cancer to a point where everybody, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people sit and look at us, Black Americans, as scum, as the lowest people on the planet in terms of status. But when you go, right? But when you go to the indigenous folks that still know the truth, they look at us like we're gods. So, what the fuck is the secret?
The secret sauce is conditioning. Conditioning your reality